The courtroom was packed that morning, ordinary people waiting nervously for their turn, lawyers whispering in press suits, and a judge who ruled the room with sarcasm more than law. Then the doors opened, and in walked Daniel Harris, a single dad, wearing a plain shirt with sleeves rolled carefully at the elbows, his tie knotted awkwardly, as if he borrowed it just for this moment. In one hand, he carried a beat-up briefcase. In the other, he clutched the tiny fingers of his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. The judge smirked the second he saw him. "Mr. Harris," he drawled, "I hope you understand this is a courtroom, not a daycare." A few people chuckled. Daniel squeezed his daughter's hand, whispering softly, "It's okay, baby. Just breathe." What no one in that room knew, not the judge, not the sneering lawyer across the aisle, was that Daniel wasn't just another desperate single father. Beneath the modest clothes and the tired eyes, he carried a mind sharpened by years of discipline, a soldier's resilience, and a secret passion for justice that had quietly made him something extraordinary. A hidden legal genius. Daniel was there to fight for custody, again. His ex had money, lawyers, and influence. He had none of that. Just a mechanic's paycheck, his daughter's trust, and the quiet dignity of a man who had once worn his country's uniform. The judge leaned forward, lips curling. "Mr. Harris, do you really intend to represent yourself? You do know this isn't a traffic ticket, right?" The courtroom snickered again. Daniel looked up calmly, his voice steady but humble. "Your Honor, I've read every statute, every precedent relevant to my case. I may not have a law degree, but I have the truth. And that's enough." The opposing lawyer, a man in a tailored suit worth more than Daniel's car, chuckled. "Then let's proceed. This should be entertaining." The lawyer came out swinging, painting Daniel as unstable, incapable of raising a child alone. He spoke about financial instability, lack of professional support, and even hinted at his PTSD from military service. Daniel listened, jaw tight. He let the insults wash over him, but when his daughter's future was questioned, he stood. "Permission to cross-examine?" he asked. The judge rolled his eyes. "Go ahead, Mr. Harris. Amuse yourself." But Daniel wasn't amusing anyone. With surprising precision, he dismantled each argument. He pointed to specific custody laws, cited cases from memory, and revealed contradictions in the lawyer's claims. His tone was respectful but razor-sharp. By the time he finished, the opposing lawyer was shuffling papers, sweating under the collar of his expensive suit. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. Then came the emotional moment. The lawyer tried one last tactic. "Mr. Harris, can you honestly say you can provide the same life, financially, socially, academically, as the child's mother?" Daniel's shoulders slumped for a moment. He wasn't rich. He wasn't influential. But then he knelt beside his daughter, who was sitting quietly with her little backpack. He looked at the judge, at the jury of strangers in the room, and spoke with raw honesty. "No, Your Honor. I can't buy my daughter a mansion. I can't send her to private schools or give her designer clothes. But what I can give her is something money doesn't buy: stability, safety, unconditional love. When I was deployed overseas, I learned what it means to fight for something worth more than my own life. And now, that fight is her." Emma, with tears in her big brown eyes, suddenly stood and wrapped her arms around her father's neck. The room fell silent again, this time, no laughter, no smirks. Just stillness. The judge shifted uncomfortably. For the first time that morning, the sarcasm drained from his voice. He leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "Mr. Harris, how did you learn so much law without an attorney?" Daniel gave a small, almost embarrassed smile. "Night after night, when Emma was asleep, I studied. I read old case files at the library, I borrowed law books, I watched trials online. I didn't do it because I wanted to win. I did it because I couldn't let her down." The judge sat back, staring at the man who had been mocked just an hour earlier. This wasn't a fool wasting the court's time. This was a father who had turned sacrifice into strength, pain into wisdom. For the first time in years, the judge felt something stir inside him, a reminder of why justice mattered in the first place. The judge's gavel came down softly, almost reverently. This court recognizes the extraordinary commitment Mr. Harris has shown, not only to his child but to the law itself. Custody will be granted jointly, with primary residence awarded to Mr. Harris. Case dismissed. The lawyer gasped. The mother's side sat stunned. But Daniel? He just hugged Emma tighter, whispering, "We did it, baby. We did it." Word of that courtroom victory spread quietly at first. People spoke about the single dad who stood against the odds, about the judge who learned humility from the very man he mocked. A few months later, Daniel wasn't just a mechanic anymore. With encouragement from a local attorney impressed by his courtroom skills, he began studying officially, taking night classes in law. He still tucked Emma into bed each night, still packed her lunch each morning, but now, he also chased a new dream. Not just for himself, but for every parent, every veteran, every ordinary person who thought they weren't enough. Final message. In the end, Daniel's story wasn't about winning a case. It was about proving something deeper, that kindness, sacrifice, and determination can outshine money, power, and arrogance.